So, good morning, everyone. I am Soumilya Mishra on the behalf of the SciComm staff. Welcome you all in this such a auspicious event by Dr. Manu Sikarwar, sir. He's a really very eminent scientist and a government official who has agreed for us to invite to share his insightful thoughts. To know more about him, I invite Bhakti to introduce him with her kind words.
Thank you so much. So, hello everyone. Let me quickly introduce you all to our today's speakers. Dr. Manu Sikarwar is a renowned academic researcher and policy expert specializing in higher education, science policy, intellectual property rights, and innovation management. Currently serving as a visiting researcher at PSL University, Paris, France, he has an extensive background in government policy making, research leadership, and academia industry collaborations. With a career spanning over 20 years, Dr. Sikarwar has contributed significantly to national education reforms, science communication, and intellectual property management. Talking about his professional experience, he is currently working as a visiting researcher at PSL University Paris, France, from 2023 to present. Before that, he was an assistant director at Higher Education Government of Rajasthan from May 2022 to February 2024. There, he led the implementation of the national education policy in Rajasthan. Before that, he was a project director at Science and Technology Department, Government of Rajasthan from 2015 to 2022. There, he led initiatives on intellectual property rights, helping startups and researchers secure patents and copyright. Collaborated with technology and innovation support centers and under VIPO to enhance scientific research and technology commercialization. Before that, he was a senior lecturer at Government PG College, Tong, Rajasthan from 2003 to 2015. Dr. Sikarwar's research spans multiple disciplines, including intellectual property rights and science policies, national education policy implementation, computational chemistry, and science communication. He also served as a speaker at National Conference on Recent Advances at Interfaces of Physical and Life Sciences, University of Rajasthan. Keynote speaker at intellectual property awareness seminars, conducted workshops on patent filing and innovation policies, mentor at Rajasthan Shark Tank events, guided startups on investor policies, funding strategies, and intellectual property rights. It's our honor to have him as a guest speaker today. Sir, I welcome you on behalf of the SciComm Synapse. And with this warm welcome and introduction, I request the host to continue the event. Thank you.
Really, such a great personality we have on our stage. Really, thank you, sir, for coming here. And I hope we will learn a lot from this event. So, if you allow, can we start with the sir question answer session?
Yes, please do, so many. Yeah.
Yes. See, what I understood that you are basically inclined toward theoretical chemistry. So, what inspired you to choose a career in theoretical chemistry, and how can the current students discover their passion for research in theoretical chemistry?
So, okay. Thank you, Bhakti and Somalia, for this interaction session with our stakeholders. Probably, I've been told they are basically graduation students, undergraduate students. Of course, some of them may be master students, and probably some students maybe who are keenly doing research at different institutions. And so you just ask about my interest about in theoretical chemistry. So so when I was doing my even in school days, as we all do read about uh, board theory and about atoms and molecules, and at that time I had a curiosity in knowing about the complex systems, how they work and how we can study their properties. And during my masters, I was having one special paper on quantum chemistry. Then we were studying this hydrogen atom, and then why calculations for studying higher systems with more electrons can be complicated, in getting the results, like energy and different values. So at that time I thought, so I need to means check means how we can make use of different kind of tools which are available, means with the help of mathematics and computing. So then I thought, means that theoretical chemistry might be one of the thing that I should means look into. And I was fortunate enough, it means while means just completing my masters, so I got an exposure to participate in few programs, means like summer schools and winter schools at IITs and different institutions, where I learned some basics about computational chemistry. But the most important thing where I learned about this theoretical chemistry was my visit to theoretical chemistry section at Bhabha Atomic Research Center. So and there I worked at BRC on in summers, during summers, with theoretical chemistry section at there. And at that time, so means if for 2 years I regularly visited in during my summer breaks there. And I worked on particle physics. I worked on means nanotechnology, on different aspects. I worked and used different kind of tools there, interacted scientists and of course research scholars who are there, means young research scholars. If you want to learn, you it just means not only from scientists, but also you need to interact with scholars. There I learned, and then use the HPC system, high performance computing system there. So it's about my journey, means and of course after that definitely funding projects from University Grants Commission. Then in my academic journey, then a couple of scholars, I was fortunate, means they were part of the research work that I was doing. This is all about my means theoretical chemistry journey. So which I still continuing. One with my research group is still we are focused on some dye sensitized solar cells, and of course on solid oxide fuel cells. And so and but for the means the researchers, means to the upcoming researchers, who the students who are even means after doing their bachelors are keenly interested in doing some integrated PhD programs, or even the students who are means after just after masters, if they means they want to means involved in the research after doing their master's program. So my suggestion is that means while doing your master's programs, or even uh, in means even your bachelor's programs, so look, so there are two aspects basically here. So because in India, means if I means if I believe that most of our stakeholders are from India also. So in India, so we have means different kind of institutions here. So some of the institutions means are premier institutions like IITs, in Institute of Science, in Institute of Science Education Research, and of course central universities. So those institutions are means basically are one of the good institutions in India. So with having all kind of support system, means like research facilities and all other things. Another system is like state government universities, so state public universities, basically in state government. And so they have a different kind of culture there. So it's means if you are part of this state public universities, then you need to means you have to be more means aware in the sense then you need to seek more means more pathways how I can get into the research system. So basically you need to be a curious, means curious about the means about your interest basically. Means what means either you are means more inclined towards biotechnology, or on some protein folding research, or on means some energy sector related things which are means for about your interest basically. And then you need to have you need to participate in couple of means programs, so where you can learn basically from experts about those programs, and so it's like that. So basically means if you want to explore research as the means after your master's or your bachelor's program, then there are multiple kind of things which we need to means keep in our mind. Yeah. So Somalia, so you are on mute, please, if you can just send. Yeah. So,
Sorry, I'm really, sir, I'm very happy to know that you are also from BARC, and currently I am pursuing my PhD from BARC. Yeah, that's really nice. And so, sir, moving on to the next question. Since you work on theoretical chemistry, so it's like a curiosity-driven research. So, sir, how can young scientists balance curiosity-driven research with solving real-world problems to make a meaningful impact? So, means what I want to ask that how curiosity-driven research can lead to a problem-solving research.
Yeah, a good question, Somalia. So it's a very relevant question, and of course in India, even means on the global side also means so there are means challenges nowadays to getting means funding, basically funding for doing some fundamental kind of research. So there are questions and how we can have a balanced approach and how we can means have a rational view on such kind of important matters. Uh, so, uh, uh, so we need to basically, so when we talk about translational research, the people who are involved in doing some taking up some fundamental research problems, so they need to have a wide kind of exposure. So when I talk about wide kind of exposure, I mean suppose means any research group, if they are looking into a specific research problem related to environment, so they need to have a wide view or means knowledge about climate change impact, and of course some real life issues, real life problems basically. So for that for example, if any student who is focusing on quantum related problems, so they need to think about the applications in different areas of quantum studies basically. So for that they need to have a word with with industries, with policymakers. So of course in India, so we know we have means it's a huge country with it's around 140 cr population, and different kind of problems so we have uh, and so for that our scholars, our scientists, they need to be in touch with policymakers, with industries, so what kind of problems they are facing and how they can, I mean, their research element can focus on those kind of real world problems. So that's one of the point, because some most of the time our researchers so we are deeply involved during our research. We are focused on our deep the research problems, and at that time we miss this opportunity. We getting the things discussed with policymakers, because ultimately it will be nice if we can have a discussion with the industrial houses or our policymakers. Suppose if we are doing work in environment, then we can have a discussion with our pollution control board, in state government, even in government of India, with ministries of like Ministry of Environment and Forest. From there you can just identify, means you can correlate your research problem to the real world problems. So this is one of the thing. And another point is that so we need to participate in interdisciplinary research. So basically, if we are for example, if I am from fundamental science background, from physics background or chemistry background, then we need to be in touch with from people from engineering side also. So they can we can just correlate the things and focus on some translational, means some some output oriented things out of our research. And even this kind of thing, I believe will definitely help our scholars for building their future programs also. So it's not only mere discussion. So because when you will meet the policymakers, then definitely they will give you some sort of idea what on what problems they are looking for the solutions. Then of course even during your research uh, duration, or even after your postdoc, or you can focus on such kind of problems which exist in India, and suggest some solutions.
Yes, sir. So, sir, as you said, we need to interact with policymakers. So, I guess you are involved in that field. So, when you develop a policy, So what kind of thoughts, what do's and don'ts you have to take in the picture for a when you see from a scientist aspect, so that the policy is not is beneficial to them as well, and beneficial to public as well, and beneficial to government as well.
Okay, fine. So, of course, this is very important question that you have just raised about the policy. So, policy, when because means when we want to work on some specific policy, then there are multiple processes while building the policy. And I'm fortunate enough that I was part of intellectual property right IPR policy for the state of Rajasthan, and IPR policy for our university system. So just I will means take few examples and will try to means put my point about this policy point of view. For example, when we were discussing about means intellectual property rights in Rajasthan, so back in 2015-16, so government of India, they have released national IPR policy, and of course when we're talking about intellectual property rights, so the motive is that to push basically innovative ecosystem across means in academia, in industry, in a startup ecosystem. And that point of time we came to know that means like institutions like IITs and good institutions, they have their IP policy in place, but the state funded universities, they were not having that kind of policy in their ecosystem. Means if any research scholars who is doing it's focusing on some innovative research problem, and there is a possibility of filing the patent, then who will own the patent basically? Either it is university or the research scholar or the professor under which he is doing the research. So that kind of issues arises at that time. Then we try to solve them. Then, and of course, as I said earlier, that like our institutions like IITs, they have a different kind of ecosystem, but the state funding universities, they have a different kind of system there. So what we did, so we had a consultation mechanism. Means when they're going for any policy, then definitely the initial stages to identify the means the problems areas where on which we need to have a policy framework. Then in the second stage, we have a consultation mechanism for whom this policy is brought for. So we have a mechanism. We discuss this thing with the universities, with the research scholars, university administration. So and there means, of course, there is a long consultation mechanism. Then we drafted this policy document, and it was again put for the means public opinion. So we can have different kind of opinions. So we have opinions, of course, not only from the scholars, but of course from legal expert from national law universities, NLUs. Then, of course, we were having an expert group which were having experts from Institute of Science and IITs. So they were having their views. Then we drafted this policy document, and ultimately this policy document was approved by the government. And so when we are doing this policy document, it's not a piece of paper basically. So this policy document, when the government approves, so there are consequences of such kind of policies, and then this IPR policy in government of Rajasthan, so it was approved by the government, and not only by the government, so state government universities, which are of course an autonomous institutions, and they adopted this policy document, and it facilitated not only faculty members, means it. So there were real issues while doing this research. So it helped a lot our scholars also in the university ecosystem, and it facilitated. So there was a convergence. Means this national IPR policy was there, and out of which, so we tried to have a policy in state, and which was adopted well by universities ecosystem, and the policy measures which were there means out of this national IPR policy, like facilitating means filing patent applications, and what are the basically concessions which are given to the universities, to the scholars, or even to the individuals, and which we try to to provide them. And this is one of them. And of course, uh, another policy on which we worked was industry academia collaboration. So so it is one of the important thing, because uh, how our means while our when I was in Japan for a certain course, so we were discussing there about this industry academia collaboration. and there became to know. So in Japan, so they have a means very means good and strong collaboration between industry and academia. So all these universities have these technology transfer offices, TTOs. And in real terms, when it's hardly means few universities in India, they have TTOs in India. Then we formulated a policy program in Rajasthan, also industry academia collaboration. So this is all about means policies, and of course I will be speaking on one of another program later on this platform. So this is all about policy. So why these policies are important? Because on the policy, you have the once the policy document is there, then you can create a program out of that policy, and there are financial implications, of course. So government, this is very easy for the executive part to implement that program because the policy is there. If the policy is not there, then it is really difficult, because in government processes there are multiple channels. They of course look into some means appropriate document, which is policy, and if it is the policy is there, then it's very easy to implement the things.
Yes. So फिर what I got to know that from your talk, from this piece of conversation, that knowing about IPR rights and knowing about government rights is equally important doing the research and experiments with proper hands. Am I true, sir? Yes. So, sir,
Yes,
moving,
yeah,
sir, there are two initiatives which I got to know, that are Karya and the Rural Technology Incubator Foster. So, sir, how these two initiatives inspire students for innovation and the future academic leaders? Can you please share some light on these two initiatives by you?
yeah. So Somalia, thank you for this question. So let me have means speak to you about these two initiatives that we took back in 2006, 15, 16. Yeah. So, about this Karya program, so we all know that we have this Indian Academy of Sciences program, Summer Research Fellowship program, IASC. So we have different kind of means three science academies in India, and they have their this Summer Research Fellowship program, Indian Academy of Science, and nowadays so different IITs, they have their summer fellowship program. So since I am from Rajasthan, and then I have seen there are very few students who are able to means go for this science academy uh, fellowship program. And of course, so we have good institutions, good prestigious institutions, good scientists in India, and but unfortunately, means students from Rajasthan were not able to take benefit of such kind of opportunities. There were multiple issues at that particular point of time. Then and one of the issues that means the communication skills. And then means when you want to apply in such kind of program, definitely you have to identify means a research, basically a small research problem on which you would like to work. And 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 uh, and we find that students were not able to means focus on such kind of things because lack of exposure and all these things. And when I visited BRC, then I interacted with many scientists there. Then and we had a discussion. Okay, then they suggested why you should not work such kind of things in your own state. And fortunately, I was given an opportunity in Science and Technology Department as project director, where we were given this task. Where of course it was our mandate to work for means science and technology stakeholders. Then we discussed with means our scientists, professors from ISERS, Indian Institute of Science Education Research. Of course, BARC scientists were there in the panel also. And then we discussed about this program, and then we provided an unique opportunity for students from Rajasthan. And this is Karya, knowledge augmentation through research in young aspirants. And those students who are basically keen to learn, basically. So it was basically an exposure, means for 8 weeks if they want to visit any research institution. So what we did, so we had a means partnership, we had a collaboration with these with CSIR institutions, with IITs and different kind of institutions. So we had a partnership. We identified means some good researchers there. And then what we did, we invited them at our platform under Karya, and then we asked our students from Rajasthan, from state universities, from government colleges, so to apply, and so they can have a means overview, means of the kind of research which is going in these good institutions, and they can just learn from these institutions also while visiting for 8 weeks. And I'm happy to share, even means during COVID times, so this program was not stopped, means so at that time, so we just changed on it on, means from offline to online. And around 5 students from government colleges, so they were given an means a internship at Cambridge University. So means the impact was, means it's really good. It sparked means basically curiosity driven learning system in our state funded universities and colleges. And many students, so they were able to means shape their career. So after their bachelor's programs, master's program, they went for these taking research programs at IITs, at ISERs, and of course many of them now they are, I means, doing their means postdoc or even research programs at different kind of institutions across the globe. Some of them are doing their means at Norway. I mean, still in touch with those students who are doing their research program. And the beautiful thing is that Somalia means they're now, means different kind of research, means students like you, means, and so they have these science connect platforms basically, and many students of out of this career program. So they what they did, so they created their YouTube platform and to sensitize students. So basically it is a sort of chain reaction which we try to initiate. Now it is there, still there in the place. And of course the most means that the beneficiaries of this particular career program is the female students. And so yeah, because for them it's really means it's really a very necessary kind of thing, so to get the exposure, and so they can also try to build their career in fundamental science, and they can see the good means. I believe in India, so institutions like Harishchandra Research Institute of Mathematical Science in China, MSc, then we have this Raman Research Institute in Bangalore. So and means, so there are a lot many good institutions like JNCSR, and of course BARC. So they can go there and learn, means from the scientists, from the professors, and how these scholars are working. So it is a wonderful program basically, Karya. And still it is still means, and the beauty is that still government is funding for this program. They are providing the fellowship program, means, and at par with this Indian Academy of Sciences Summer Research Program, number one. Now come to this Rural Technology Business Incubator Program. Of course, in 2016, 15, 16. So we thought about means to dealing with means issues which are basically means about the solutions, and to just to inculcate a startup ecosystem to the problems which exist for the rural masses, rural sector. And then we started this Rural Technology Business Incubation Program. Of course, so we have our financial limitation in the state government, but this program was means at that time, so around 13 institutions across the Rajasthan state, they were given opportunity to participate in this program. And one of them, in one of the institution is Vanasthali Vidyapit. So if you people know about Vanasthali Vidyapit, it is near to Jaipur. So it's around 60 kilometers from Jaipur. And it is a women-oriented university. It's a top-notch university in northern part of India. And they have done tremendous job. And 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 was a couple of their students were given financial support under this Rural Technology Business Incubation Program. And later on, we came to know those students, those female students, they created their own startups, and they're doing great. Number one. Number two, many of the private universities, they were also given supports under this Rural Technology Business Incubation Program, RTBI. And means, so so you need, basically you need a platform. basically. And means either it is individual or any means any growing system basically. And these universities at that time in 2016, so they were in the means they were just emerging. So that they get this handholding from the state Department of Science and Technology, and out then thereafter they built up their own ecosystem. They learned the things, and they went for good grants from Niti Ayog and from Ministry of Science and Technology, Government of India, under Nidhi Priyas. So now they have a good kind of incubators at their own institutions. So it was basically provide a basically catalytic support under the umbrella of Rural Technology Business Incubation Program, and later on once they showed success out of this Rural Technology Business Incubation Program, so they were given the opportunity to get the good support from Niti Ayog as well as from Ministry of Science and Technology. So these programs basically, so we try to means to develop in the state by developing some policies, and this is all about these two things that we tried.
Yeah, it's really great to listen about these two initiatives from you. So, sir, what I have seen that people have the knowledge, they have curiosity to implement it, but they don't have the awareness to about how to reach to these people. So, what do you think? How the community like us, like the SciComm Synapse, play a vital role in developing awareness among the students of like these such programs?
Somalia, very good question, and of course, this is I think this is one of the most important thing that we all people need to do, and that you people are also means doing a great job in means in and platforms like yours, and I know means many platforms like India Bioscience is one of them, and and then I have this Vigyan Shala, and so there are different kind of programs, but looking, so means about some statistics. So so we have around means around 3.5 or 4 crore students who are part of higher education system as of now. So India is a very vast country and different kind of languages and all other things, and of course the higher education system differs from state to state. It's not a homogeneous kind of thing, and such kind of platforms they are means it's not the pure job of government basically. So it's basically about such kind of platforms which are curated either by scientists or by students, by researchers, and who have a hand who should do hand holding to our students, because so when our higher education system is there, so so there are different kind of stakeholders. Our teachers are there, faculty members are there. So, like prestigious institutions like IITs and different institutions, central universities, so they have a such kind of mechanism where means where master students, even PhD students, they are given travel support. They can find, they can go to seminars, conferences, but in state, so this kind of initiatives still lack. And so, such kind of platforms, so they are a must kind of thing, and and exposure, and what I will do, I will say it's a mentorship, basically mentorship, and they have to be there in their means own languages. For example, I am from Rajasthan, so most of the students who are means from Rajasthan, so they have to be make aware, they have to be given that kind of exposure in Hindi, because they can easily understand, they can relate with. So it's a very means it's a necessity basically, what I will say, because there are lot many opportunities now exists, and lot many opportunities, but people don't know about. And while you are means you are in your bachelor's, means if you are interested in doing some fundamental science, or if you want to move for master's programs, of course, for energy studies and some environment science, but you should have a knowledge about that program. And even your in bachelor's program, you should try to build your profile accordingly. And and internationally, means there are a lot many institutions where you can apply, means they provide funding and all these things. But even in your bachelor's, if you have that kind of knowledge, that you can build accordingly your profile. So you are right in that sense. means exposure, mentorship is one of the must thing. Of course, government is doing their job, but government has its own limitation in terms of resources, manpower. So of course, means non-formal organizations like yours and other institutions, they means other individuals, they have an important role to play, and we as a part of society, we should do collective efforts to have an outreach, kind of strong outreach, basically strong outreach. And I know this Indian National Young Academy of Sciences, INIAS, which is part of I believe this is part of this Science Academy at Delhi. So they are doing good job, number one. And then of course people like you, like India Bioscience, and they are means like one of the organization in private sector, Cactus. So they are doing such kind of good jobs. And but we need to have more organization, and particularly means in northern part of India, in Uttar Pradesh, in Bihar, in Madhya Pradesh, in Rajasthan. So this part need to require a little bit more mentorship needs. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, sir. So, if we go through the journey of the startups, so not every startup is profitable from the very start. So, in that time, what happens that people tend to develop low motivation. Sometimes they are in high motivated. The level of motivation is like in a zigzag manner. So sometimes they tend to quit the startup even if in the future it's profitable. So when to we are starting a startup, what do you think? What is important? Either motivation is important or discipline to continue that startup is important.
So Somalia, so it's a nice thing that you have asked about this startups, and so government of India, so it's taking, I mean, they have taken a good measures, and for promoting this startup ecosystem in India. And you have just pointed out two important things about the discipline and about the motivation, basically. So what I feel, so it's both. It's not a means only the motivation will not work, so you have to have a discipline also while working on a when you are means starting your startup journey. So there are nowadays means there are a lot of things if you want to work on your startup, your own startup. But so means about this startup buzzword. So if you want to means just to enter without having any kind of preparation, it's not good. Now there are different kind of programs before you jump into this startup ecosystem, so that you should have an idea about this, how this startup ecosystem work. Number one, so what kind of support mechanism exists, and what are the sources from where you can get this support mechanism. So before you are jumping into this startup ecosystem, you should have that kind of knowledge of background. So so about DPIIT. So it's a department under Ministry of Commerce and Industries in Government of India, and they are basically the nodal department for the startup. And they are means they are the department for means which recognizes startups. So you should know about means suppose any students while pursuing his bachelor's or even master's, and if he or she wants to start his own startup, so there is no harm, or means so they definitely should go for the means doing startup. But before that, they should know about, so what about the mentorship programs. So there are a lot many mentorship programs and for startups now. So they have to participate means before starting their journey in mentorship programs. Then if they want to start, then how they have to safeguard their intellectual property. If they are working on some innovative technology, so they have to file patents. So for that, there are different kind of facilitation mechanism provided by DPIT and even by state governments, of course. So how they can safeguard by filing a provisional patent application, even if their innovation is in a very nascent stage, they can file the patent application, of course. So there, and for startups, there is a very means good support ecosystem for filing IPR. And of course means then there are different kind of support mechanism in terms of financial support, either angel investors or seed funding. And in different universities, in different higher education systems, though So they also provide EIR support. So what I will say that like entrepreneurship in residence. While you are also pursuing your bachelor's program, at that time you are also working on a startup ecosystem. Then you will be provided a minimum support uh, from your institution under this EIR program. So there are basically different kind of facilities. There kind of different kind of uh, means support mechanism exist, which are either by the government of India, DPIIT department, and means different kind of ministries. Of course, Niti Aayog, they have their Atal incubation program, and Ministry of Science and Technology, this Nidhi Priyas program. So these are basically good programs, and institutions like means good institutions. They have own support mechanism. They have their incubations system where you have the CEO of incubation. There are managers in your incubation support system. So but you have to be very aware. My point is that means just jumping into the startup ecosystem without knowing the means the complete scenario, it's not good. But first you need to know about this startup ecosystem. If you will go, I will have to work on this idea, whether what kind of means existing technologies exist in market, and what are who are your competitors, and how you are different from those competitors, what sort of solutions you are going to provide. So this is all about the thing. Yeah.
So startup ecosystem is itself another topic. I guess to discuss upon it will take another lecture, 1 hour lecture from you to know about it. So, sir, what is your vision for the future of academics as of now, and how can the current students shape it into a force of for societal transformation?
Yeah. Of course, Somalia, this is one of the good thing that you have just pointed out. So, of course, we all means I'm not means, and I was fortunate enough to be part of means this higher education policies to look very closely how these policies are devised, and of course, the stakeholders like you and others, they are very important because. Uh, I interacted a lot many students means who are doing their means either their PhD work. I'm just talking about this higher education system and particularly aim towards science and engineering, of course. And then what they expect, right? What means students like you, what our researchers, our bachelor students, our master students, what they expect from government. So I have much interaction with them, and uh, means I was there means in Paris. So there I met few students who were means means suppose any students who is from engineering side and doing he's started his doing means he's interested in material science. Then he did his masters in material science. Then he means he has done his basically means PhD in different subject areas. So whether our means higher education setup allows such kind of students, means I'm just not talking about this prestigious institutions. I means means around 80% our 80% of our students are part of state funded universities. Means it's around means 23 24 IITs and around 7 ISERs and 57 central universities. So apart from them, so there are state government institutions. So means whether we allow such kind of good students to part of that ecosystem, are our rules are basically amended from that point of view. So this is the thing. And very recently, Niti Aayog, so they have released one policy document for state governments, means state public universities, and they have suggested lot many means things which need to be taken care. Number one, and so this national education policy NEP, national education policy 2020. So they talk about such kind of good things for developing means policy changes and education in our higher education system. So, of course, from policy point of view, National Education Policy 2020 is a wonderful document and which is being looked after by Ministry of Education, Government of India, and it states, of course, are different departments like Education Department, Higher Education Department, Technical Education Department, and but in India, So our private sector or our corporates, they are, of course, there are universities initiated by corporates in India, but much more things has to be done, because presently our gross enrollment ratio in India, so it's around 28%, 28.4. uh, and the aims and the objectives which have been specified in national education policy, so by 2035, we have to be gross enrollment ratio 50%. So means we are going from 28% to 50%. And as of now, we have 4 crore students list, means 4 crore students in higher education setup in India. And by 2035, so it will be around 9 crore. So means, so we are going from 4 CR to 9 CR. If we want to increase our gross enrollment ratio, GER 50%, from 28% to 50%, then we need a huge investment in quality higher education institutions. When I talk about quality higher education institutions, so we need to have a good infrastructure there, good means research setup there, and they have a very kind of means packages for our means postdocs and for faculty positions. So this is basically good ecosystem need to exist. So of course this is a challenge for us, means and this but I believe means good policies like national education policy and of course state governments are looking into these policy outcomes. I believe means we are on a means we are on a right path, but the private sector or corporates, they need to put their efforts more effectively when we compare with the developed world. So there means there most of the funding in R&D ecosystem is basically the nature of the funding coming from the private ecosystem, from the corporates, is much more than in India. So we hope in coming days things will change. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So, sir, some YouTube questions have come for you on our YouTube channel. So, first question is from Neha. What she asks is she wants to know about quantum theoretical chemistry, and she has heard it for the first time. So, can you shed some light for it on it?
Yeah. For quantum theoretical chemistry, of course. So uh, basically, so so for example, if you want just in a layman word, I would like to explain this thing. In quantum theoretical chemistry, if you want to means just study molecules or atoms, means so you need to study basically the interaction phenomena between the nucleus and the electrons. And for that point of view, you should have a knowledge of fundamentals of quantum science, and not only the fundamentals of quantum science, but how you can means write a program write a program in terms of codes. So basically you will be requiring some codes or a program which can just means just try to play with your algorithm, basically. And then just you can play with this algorithm based on the some fundamental principles which are laid down in quantum science, and then you can analyze the results, basically. So this is basically an overview of quantum theoretical chemistry. And there are multiple kind of tools, means like if you want to use some free license softwares like games you can use, and if you are using some license, then Gaussian is one of the popular one. So there are multiple kind of software tools which you can take help. And even so it depends on the nature of the problem you are addressing, whether it means a simple laptop or a simple workstation one can work, and the nature of the problem. If you're working on some protein folding the problems, then probably an HPC system will be required. So of course this is one of the important thing. And while we are doing our means when we study our bachelor's programs and master's programs, so during our bachelor's final year programs and even in master's programs, so we study this quantum chemistry and even quantum physics. So at that point of time we can try couple of means small calculations using our small computer systems. Then we can have interest in such kind of subject matter. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, sir. So I guess quantum chemistry is, I guess, itself interesting, and I guess we can have a lecture on it after because this lecture was heavily focused on policies and the new prospects of research. So, the second question is from Beraram Bhati. He wants to ask that how to collaborate our work with AI and machine learning, because nowadays machine learning has an important role in to play in data science. So what do you say in this?
Although, yeah. So although I have means I'm not means expert on such kind of specific things, but let me share a couple of things on such kind of uh, important points. So what I feel means from Indians perspective. So even during our masters programs or even our bachelor's programs, and even in while we are doing our PhD programs at good institutions, so we should means it's my personal view. So we all should learn some programming language. Programming language in terms of either we should know C plus or Java or Python, because or even R. So basically for some research analytical tools, basically, so that we can just what we are doing means what results we are producing. So those kind of results can be means can be used as a tool for means machine learning or for in AI. So my suggestion is basically to learn these programming languages while we are part of this our studies in bachelor's or in masters or even in research. Many of the students, they don't have that kind of background. They are basically, suppose any student who is working on environment research problems, so they focus only on environment research problems. So and they don't learn about these programming languages. But it's always good when means to learn this about this programming languages while you are doing your research programs. So means I'm sorry, means I have not means answered in that in a specific way, but since I'm not the subject expert of this area on machine learning.
Okay, sir. So we are. I'm really thankful to have you because I got really a lot of insights on it. So we are moving on to the end of our event. So, sir, what advice would you give to young researchers on building resilience and staying motivated through challenges in their academic careers?
Yeah. So Somalia, so it's a great question, and so no so when we have a word with research scholars in our research ecosystem and we have an interaction with them, and then I also ask such kind of things to them also, what they are looking into the things. And so my suggestion is that of course when we are part of this research ecosystem doing research at those institutions or even at state funded universities, so we need to be, of course we need to be focused on our research problem, number one. Number second, then we have a good networking skills. It plays an important role. When I am talking about networking skills, whenever you visit such kind of conferences, seminars, so you have a good networking. Good networking in the sense, networking with the means policymakers. So if you are aimed for you are doing some research problems which is based on environment, on some quantum chemistry, on some physics problems, some water related, have an interaction with the policymakers also in your state, in your organizations, so they can suggest you on which how you can just you can relate your research problem with the real world problems. Then you should have basically some means specific things means you have to develop your hobbies also, means not only means it's a work life balance kind of thing. You should also explore your hobbies while doing your research. It's not means merely looking into, it's not a 24/7 kind of job only focused on your means research problem, but you need to develop your personality also. So basically the networking, it plays an important role. Of course read good books, because reading good books, it always supports you like anything. And and I'm happy that I have that kind of interest in reading good books, and it always motivates you. So because a motivation is very important while doing the research, because in India, so it at least it is 3 years, means after doing your masters you have to have spent 3 years, and most of the students institutions like DAE, and these students go for postdoc, so another two years journey is there, and you need to be focused, and you need to be developed your networking, and of course, and you should have a good friend circle also, to whom you can share your thoughts, and life is very precious ultimately, you know. So there are times, so it's a basically a sine wave kind of thing, sometimes up then down, it's not a flat line, so it's a sine wave basically. So when you are up here, then sometimes it's not, things are not means uh, as you wish, so at that time you should have a patience also. So these are basic things which any research scholars have to keep in mind.
Yes, sir. Really, it's a great suggestion from you. And ups and downs are always a part of life, and a straight line in ECG means nothing.
Nothing. Yes.
To every speaker, we ask our permanent and our favorite question, that what is your favorite scientific research which contributed a major part in the scientific world. For example, some of the speakers said like discovery of water molecule was their favorite research, and like discovery of insulin and discovery of penicillin was their favorite research. So what is your favorite scientific research?
Of course. Yeah. So it's a very important question. From my point of view, these means these fear. I'm just means very keen interest in these fuel cells. Very keen interest in fuel cells, and it's on a very fundamental aspect. It is related on your means electrochemistry. So on very fuel cells like these solid oxide fuel cells. So I have a keen interest in solid oxide fuel cells, and there are multiple kind of things, and it is having means variety of applications in different areas, ranges from space shuttles to heavy ships, and of course to our in our daily life. So it's about fuel cells, in which I have a keen interest, and my recent work that I did in Paris Science Letters, it was also related with this fuel cells only.
Oh, so sir, I guess we have to take another webinar to discuss with you on the topics of quantum chemistry and the fuel cells, because I know with the time constraint we cannot accommodate everything in one lecture, because it will be very means- so sir, lastly, so if I can summarize our conversation, so what I think that uh, first knowing about the rules and knowing about the policies is equally important, as well apart from our course and the course which universities have, intellectual IPR and copyright trademark. We should take it seriously, and we should learn it through by heart, because it really helps in safeguarding our research. So this is what I think. Can I summarize, or do you want to add some more points to it?
Yes, of course, you rightly summarized our discussion, and of course, we have to be aware. Basically, means when basically the time is equally important, and when we are in our best, means my suggestion is basically we need to start right away from our bachelor's only, instead of going to masters. So in bachelor's, if we are means aware enough, then definitely we can mold the things. In shaping our career in a right way.
Yes, sir. So, sir, I'm really thankful to have you here and sharing us insights about the government policies. So, I would like to invite Bhakti Sadhguru to provide the official vote of thanks to sir.
Sure. It is my privilege to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks on behalf of all of us here. First and foremost, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to our esteemed speaker, Dr. Manu Sikarwar, for sharing their invaluable insights and expertise with us. It has left us with valuable takeaways and a fresh perspective. I would also like to thank all my teammates for their efforts in putting together this event so seamlessly. From coordinating the schedule to ensuring a smooth flow, your dedication behind the scenes has made this webinar a success. A special thanks goes to our audience. Your active participation, insightful questions, and enthusiasm have truly enriched the session. It is your engagement that drives the success of events like this. Once again, thank you all for being a part of this wonderful session. Let's continue to think, grow, and share together. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you so much, sir. So we have to the audience, we have posted our feedback link in the chat box so that you can fill it and get the certificate of this auspicious webinar event. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us and coming.
Thank you, Somalia. Thank you, Bhakti. All the best.
Thank you so much, sir. So